On today's show, it was a perfect weekend for the Ottawa Senators.
And GM Steve Staios spoke to the media today. Is there any big news coming for the Ottawa Senators?
This is Yakemchuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome! You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Head to FanDuel to get started. Today is Monday, November 10th, and Pillsy, it's a feeling I felt before, many times last year, in fact. But I didn't realize how bad I needed it again. Senators go 2-0 back-to-back on the weekend. Two very different games, beating the Philadelphia Flyers in overtime 3-2 Saturday, and then at home 4-2 against the Utah Mammoth.
Yeah, and we finally got a game that didn't go past regulation, and the Sens get the win. How about starting November off 2-0-2? This feels pretty good so far for the Ottawa Senators. They're third in the Atlantic Division. They're getting help from some unlikely characters. Michael Amadio on a November game goal-scoring streak. Leevi Merilainen had a great game. There's lots to get into here, and it's all positivity.
Well, let's start with Leevi Merilainen because it had been all Allmark all the time. It felt like only Levy's third NHL game this season. He looked comfortable. He was giving me flashbacks of the way he played last season. When he's on, his mechanics are so good. He's never late getting over to a play. There was that 2-on-1 feed to Logan Cooley. That is as technically sound of a desperation type save as you'll ever see.
Yeah, I agree. When he made that save, I was like, oh, that's how you know Levy's feeling it. Great movement, great positioning, and great battling for pucks. There was a couple of scramble chaos plays where he had to be sharp and make sure he found a way to keep the puck out of the net. And I felt confident with Leevi Merilainen in net, and 29 saves, 935 save percentage, plus 1.8 goals saved above expected. We got to see more Leevi Merilainen. I mean, I know maybe the idea was, hey, let's give Allmark time to play out of this funk, but there's no reason why Leevi shouldn't be playing once a week, in my opinion.
He has to play again on this homestand.
Yes.
Just to keep him going. And I'll also throw this one at you, Pilsy. Leevi Merilainen, with the win last night, has improved to 6-0-1 at the Canadian Tire Center.
Yeah, I mean, he loves playing at home. He just loves doing his job working from home, Ross.
Yeah, don't we all? 932 save percentage at home in his career and an 891 on the road.
Yeah, and the Ottawa Senators like being at home too, Ross, just in general. Their home record is 5-2-1 this season.
Yeah, it's great to see. It's unfortunate, obviously, that you do it at the expense of not winning the home opener, Pillsy. I know you would have liked to seen one there against Nashville, but they're playing a lot better on home ice. And before they go out on the road, like having these next 3 games at home, there are some tough teams that are playing well coming in to Ottawa, and Dallas, never an easy game. Then you've got Boston all of a sudden streaking and red hot. They just beat you last week in their building. Can you return the favor where you've already smacked them around once this year? And then the LA Kings, you're going to be playing them twice in just over a week. Real stingy defensive team, but with game breakers like Kempe and Kevin Fiala that can beat you in a dime, and they're winning games right now. So there's no easy night in the NHL, but it feels like this stretch in particular just shows how important it was to bank those 4 points over the weekend and the overtime points they were getting before that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is going to be a tough week. It's nice to start it off with a win up against a good Utah Mammoth team. And then, yeah, the California trip is not going to get any easier either. Like, your only easy game really there, well, I guess you got 2. San Jose, that's a team you should beat, but they've given the Sens trouble in the past. And then St. Louis is a team after the California trip that's really struggling too. So November is not an easy month for the Ottawa Senators, so it's nice to start things off on a positive note.
What else stood out to you from last night's game?
Jordan Spence. My God, what a way to opened the account as an Ottawa Senator with that clap bomb. He put that one on a tee, stepped into it, gave it everything he had. No chance for Vanacek there. And then tacks on an extra assist as well. And I thought he played good, over 20 minutes of ice time. And this is a guy that I want to see playing more with Thomas Chabot, less with Tyler Kleven. Not because I don't like the idea of Kleven and Spence, but just because I want to get Spence more minutes. And I don't think we're going to see a Nick Jensen, hey, take a rest, take a couple of days off, healthy scratch. So I think it's better that it's going to be more of a soft benching where he's going to play less minutes and play with Tyler Kleven more often and bump Spence up to Chabot. We saw that in yesterday's game, Ross, where, like I mentioned, Spence played over 20 minutes. Jensen played 14-34, a team low on defense, actually, even less than Tyler Kleven.
Yeah, and I'm still not sold that Kleven Jensen's necessarily a pair that kind of ticks together, but we'll see.
I mean,
Both
it
great
should,
skating.
though, but with Jensen not skating the way we're used to seeing him, it could be difficult. Yeah,
I know. He's battling too. He just cannot get the execution, and he missed camp, and it's not pretty. So at least the change was made. Travis Green giving credit to his assistant coach, Nolan Baumgartner, for acknowledging that it did have to change within the game. And Jordan Spence, man, there's no chance he's coming out of the lineup. And you know that he's got 2 games circled coming up, the ones we just talked about against his former team, going to welcome them to Ottawa first, then head out back on the road. It's great to see him catching his stride. He leads the NHL in points per 60 minutes by defensemen with more than 100 minutes. Like, this isn't like super small sample size. And it was obviously the assists are great, but getting that goal and the way he scored it was
and he was
awesome.
shooting the puck too, Ross. 4 shots, led the Sens.
Yeah, that's just awesome. And we hope that he can continue that, because it would really alleviate the strain that this slow start from Jensen is causing. So hell yeah, for Jordan Spence, he gets one of those for the weekend. But it was 2 completely different wins, right? The Senators relied on opportunistic goals in the game on Saturday in Philly, and Tim Stützle, your superstar, scores the winner in overtime. And then, as I called it on the postcast last night, Pilsy, bit of a bullpen game last night where it's the depth guys. Nick Cousins scores in the game, and then of course Jordan Spence adds one. It was just nice to see them win in different ways. Ridley Gregg opening the scoring, and I can't call Michael Amadio depth at this point because he's on an absolute heater. And it's just, I like seeing guys step up throughout the lineup, because we had high hopes for a lot of the depth pieces. Look at how great their top 9 is. Well, felt like a house of cards when Brady Tkachuk went out of the lineup. So to show that these guys can produce in the NHL, great sign to go along with their continued strong defensive under the hood metrics.
Yeah, and then you get a win from your backup goalie that hasn't played in the NHL in quite some time. So just all around, good weekend by the Ottawa Senators. The coaching staff deserves a lot of credit. And only 1 power play for the Utah Mammoth. So a much more disciplined game, and they kill it off. So I got no negatives really from this weekend. Obviously, you'd like the Flyers game to be a better effort, but you get the win, so who cares? Move on from that. And Hayden Hodgins comes into the lineup. He didn't look out of place. Like, I thought he looked fine. And I really like I know, Ross, we were clowning on it earlier when Travis Green said, hey, it's nice having McDermott here because he plays his role and it allows us to rotate different, better players on that 4th line. And we kind of laughed, being like, hey, that's not a great attribute to be like, hey, it's good that we can sit you to have better players playing. But our guy, Julian McKenzie at The Athletic, did a really in-depth look at that rotating 4th line. And it spun me into thinking this is a good idea, because Ross, and Batherson even mentioned it, he likes when he gets the opportunity to play with Eller and Zetterland. Those are 2 good players, and you're matching up against other teams' 4th line as a top liner. Like, they are able to create good offense, and I would much rather have a rotating guy that doesn't play much in McDermott on the 4th line wing than 11 and 7, because then it just ruins your D pairs. Guys are out of funk. Whereas this gets guys fresh in up against weaker matchups. I'm actually down for this 4th line look.
Okay, I'll be willing to give it a little bit longer, because I don't know, how long it's going to be Zetterland even sniffing around the Eller line, as he's still generating chances, still can't produce. There's another zeros on the scoreboard. Like, I'm teetering on being out, but he keeps bringing me back in with the effort and with the stick and ability to make plays, but they just don't go in.
And he had a really good block. I forget if it was in Philly. Yeah, really good block. I think Ross would be different if we weren't seeing the effort and his play away from the puck and things like that wasn't there. But, it's going to come for him eventually. I don't know when. And there's no bad spot for him on the lineup. I think last year, if he was on that fourth line with guys like, Matthew Highmore and I don't know. I think him being with Eller, those two can still create good chances. And then Zetterland is getting looks with other better players throughout the games as things go on. So you can't be out on Zetterland. I think certainly you could be disappointed in the lack of production, but I think his overall game, if you're watching closely, is still where you want it to be.
Yeah, I'm just wanting to see some more offense. He has not contributed a point in 14 out of 16 games this year. Did have a goal and an assist the last time they played Boston, so maybe he'll recreate that when the Sens host the Bruins on Thursday. We've already discussed how Jordan Spence will be in the lineup. I'm going to go so far as guaranteeing it. No, you have to guarantee it. You have to. I honestly think we're going to look back on this like we did with Artem Zub. Now, I mentioned that part last night, but then the LOSB stats department went to work.
Ooh.
Do you know the 3 right shot defensemen that DJ Smith had in the lineup instead of Artem Zub when Artem Zub was a healthy scratch coming over from Russia? The answer to that on the other side. We'll get to what Steve Staios had to say to the media, including an update on Shane Pinto's contract negotiations, a trade request from a Senators prospect, and speaking of those youngins, a weekend recap from the NCAA and the AHL, where our guy, Jackson Parsons, made his pro AHL debut. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Indeed. Look, you just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Guys, it's easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page to help you reach the right candidates faster. If you've been in a spot where you needed that right hire like yesterday, the pressure's on, and every day without the right person is a setback. That's exactly when Indeed sponsored jobs can come in handy. They make sure your post is seen by the right candidates right now. I recently got employed through an Indeed post, so they got the right candidate right now, and now you can speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on the Locked On Senators podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed, is all you need.
All right, Pillsy. So the Ottawa Senators have a day off today after those 2 games on the weekend, but it is a busy time, not only in the Senators world, but around the National Hockey League. A number of games tonight. The Senators cheering guide tonight. We're going to be looking for the Nashville Predators to get a win in New York City against the Rangers. We want the Edmonton Oilers to get back on track, beat the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. And the Vegas Golden Knights are hosting the Florida Panthers. So plug your nose and hope for a Vegas win. Pillsy, I asked you a little trivia going into the break. Who are the 3 right shot defensemen that played over Artem Zub when he signed his contract? You know it's during the COVID season, so that gives you a ballpark of who they are. Let's go. Trivia time. How many of the 3 do you think you can get? Are you confident?
I know 2.
Okay. Who are they?
Josh Brown, who was just scratching the surface, needed a little bit more time. I think he would have been an elite NHL defenseman if he would have got that time.
Yep.
And Sens legend, Nikita Zaitsev.
Correct.
I do not know the third one.
Defenseman was Eric Goodbranson.
Ah, goody. Nice.
Eric Goodbranson probably had a couple good cross checks.
Yep.
Would have fired up Pierre Dorion.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zaitsev and Josh Brown. Those are the defensemen that played ahead. And it actually took a Thomas Chabot injury to get Zub into the lineup, which makes this even more shocking. Our guy, and great timing today with us doing a prospect recap at Sens Prospects. Great for video, highlights, everything you need in the world of Sens Prospects. He threw it back to the lineup for Zub's first NHL game. Pilsy, the Sens decor for Zub's first NHL game where he was the third pair right shot guy. Mike Riley with Nikita Zaitsev, Braden Coburn with Eric Goodbranson, and then Josh Brown paired with Artem Zub.
Oh my God, that's so brutal. Look at us now, though.
Braden Coburn, Eric Goodbranson as a pair. Mike Riley and Nikita Zaitsev. Oh my goodness. That is what I mean.
Mike Riley.
When I'm talking about just kind of sitting back and enjoying what we're watching right now.
Yeah. Compared to what we had. Yeah.
We sat through that on our couches alone in 2021.
Well, also that was like, oh my God, I can't believe sports are back. I'll watch anything.
Yes, Sens waited 310 days between games, and then they opened with a win, thankfully, against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then proceeded to lose not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. They lost 8 games in regulation out of their last 9, and the other, well, they lost that too, but it was in overtime. So we're doing a little bit better now as Ottawa Senators fans, with the Senators waking up this morning in third place in the Atlantic Division. Whether you do it by points or points percentage, one of the teams ahead of them changes. It's either Boston by points or Tampa by points percentage. But without Captain Brady Tkachuk, they are still in the mix. And it's great to see them find different ways to win. We said the PDO was going to jump up. That's 5-on-5 shooting percentage plus save percentage. They were well below average in all of the first 7 games. And in 7 of the last 8, they've been above average. So that's obviously a part of it. And then you're just getting different goal scorers at different times stepping up to help this team. So it's great to see. One of those guys who isn't scoring a lot of goals right now is Shane Pinto. But this morning, Steve Staios was asked about the young centerman who's in the final year of his contract. And he said, we got plans next week to speak with his agent. Do you think that we could be hearing further news, meaning a deal will get done, sooner rather than later?
No, I do not. If I'm Shane Pinto and his agent, I'm stringing the Sens along, little crumbs here, little crumbs here. I'm not looking to put pen to paper on anything anytime soon. Especially Ross, if I know this might be a long shot, but if he's in the U.S. Olympic team discussions, that would be a big boost. Depends on how things go. I don't know. If you're the Ottawa Senators, you're trying to get this deal done in the offseason months ago. But clearly that didn't happen, and that's a smart move by Shane Pinto and his camp. I think it's great that Staios is saying there's positives and they're talking and things like that. But I don't anticipate we'll get an extension done before 2026. I'll say that.
Last we heard, not from Steve Staios, but from other members of the media, were reports that Ottawa had upped their offer to something in the $6 million range over an 8-year term. So we'll see. This morning on TSN 1200, after his regular media appearance, Staios would not confirm or deny whether it was a short or long-term contract that they were discussing. So time will tell. Clearly, he's an important part of the team, despite first 6 games, it was all goals. He had 7 of them. And then he's just got 1 in the last 10, but he's starting to find his teammates. He's got, I believe, 5 assists during that stretch.
Oh, because Amadio's scoring all the goals now.
Exactly. So shout out to Steve Staios for doing a little media today. He also noted that Max Guenette officially requested a trade in the offseason. No surprise, really, when they brought back Lassie Thompson. Same position, same age, same style. Kind of like, who would you rather, Thompson or Guenette right now?
I mean, Thompson is nice because he's got a little more different experience, and he had that big season in the SHL. But I don't know. I think I would go Max Guenette.
Yeah,
9 times out of 10, especially when you look at the recent seasons. Like, if you're Guenette, you're sitting there being like, what do I got to do here to get just a decent contract when you're bringing in all these extra guys? I mean, you brought back Lassie Thompson, who was exiled back to the SHL essentially. And Max Guenette just had 23 points in 58 games. The previous season, 34 points in 58 games. He played 7 games with the Sens. Then the year before that, this guy had 40 points as a defenseman in 72 games. Like, I don't know. I'd be pretty frustrated if I was Guenette too. Now, it doesn't seem like there's any takers on Guenette trade that would meet the expectations of Steve Staios. But I think maybe as you move along the season, injuries happen and teams are looking for opportunities, or you're just at a point where you're like, look, we want to do right by him and move him and give him an opportunity, because this is a tough spot for Guenette. 24 years old. You're coming off 2-3 really good seasons in the AHL and you're just sitting there. I mean, I don't think he deserves that.
No, 7th round pick in 2019. Do you think there was probably maybe some frustration too that like he played those 7 NHL games 2 years ago and he had won his debut the year before, and it's like, wait, I didn't even get a sniff last year. Like,
yeah,
maybe that would be something that rubbed you the wrong way. But obviously, bring a guy who, in all likelihood, is your minutes replacement on ice would sour the relationship. So we'll see, because there is a deadline coming. All RFAs have to be signed by December 1st to be eligible to play NHL games that season. So we'll see what happens next with Max Guenette. And on the Shane Pinto contract front, couple other quick news and notes from Steve Staios. Really happy with the progression of Carter Yakemchuk. We'll get to his performances in the next segment, but really thought that the team was trying to do too much early on, trying to replicate that playoff feel, intensity, and it just wasn't working in their direction, and it snowballed a little bit. Staios said he was surprised by that. Were you? Did you feel that same way?
About the start?
Yeah, like you felt like the Sens were kind of like trying to do too much a little bit, trying to go for the highlight reel play. Like, I don't know if I necessarily agreed with that. I think that their Achilles heels are just things that the management's never going to talk about. He's never going to say my goalie stinks. He's never going to throw a goalie under the bus and say we need more saves. When asked about Allmark, he just said we have faith in Linus Allmark, and of course they do. He signed for 3 more years after this one at 8.25.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have faith in him. You kind of put most of your eggs in that basket. Obviously, Levi is a guy that can help support Linus, but I think it was just the big thing for me, Ross, was adjusting for life after Brady. I think that was the big one, because obviously he's such a big part of this team on and off the ice, and we saw that slump when he left, how bad things were for a while, but then they figured it out and they found different ways to have guys elevate their game. Tim Stützle, Drake Batherson have been a huge part of that, in my opinion. And then obviously the penalty kill is where it is, and it has been all season.
Yeah, it needs to get better, but it has. They're 5 for their last 5 kills. So
yeah,
at least there's that.
Yeah.
It's gotten better, but then at the same time,
it's a low bar to step over.
Right, but then so they go 5 for 5 on the PK, and then the power play goes 0 for 17.
But I'm not that upset about that, Ross, because the 5-on-5 game needed to find a way to get better as well. They were leaning too much on winning games with their power play.
Yeah, they were, but it would be nice to have a bit of a
seriously
kind of middle ground. It doesn't have to be one or the other. We'll see. Every day is a day closer to Brady Tkachuk coming back the line. Hey, you see that video behind the scenes? There's a really special moment. They did the ceremonial puck drop for the I want the proper term. It was Indigenous Heritage Night at the CTC.
Yeah.
So Brady Tkachuk meets this young lady afterwards, and she's been through a ton. And Brady asks her, "Hey, what number do you wear?" 7. Why? Because of you. And Brady's reaction was just so sweet. Sens post a video on their social media, and it's moments like that. Obviously, he's such a hell of a player when he's on the ice, turns into that stallion. And then off the ice, he just gets what it means to be a leader, to be someone who the community can rely on, to just kind of be a role model for the young generation out there. And it was Rosie Logan that stopped by, and it was Indigenous Culture Celebration Game, the way that they had worded it there. And awesome to see the captain around, because usually when a guy's hurt, you don't really see or hear from them until they're back skating with the team. So the fact that it's been made clear Brady's around the group, around the team, speaks to the leadership, and we can't wait to have him back in the lineup.
Yeah, and Staios mentioned kind of still same timeline for Brady. So I'm looking at getting him back the first week of December. I think that's a good time to target.
Once he's back skating with the team, we'll get a better idea. Sens Prospect Update is next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or you want to ride that hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. I love FanDuel. It keeps every game more exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Look out for profit boosts, no sweat bets, and so many fun promotions at FanDuel, including right now, if you're a new customer, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
All right, Pillsy. So while the Ottawa Senators were perfect 2-0 this weekend, the Belleville Sens played 3 games in 3 days with travel and came out with 1 win. It took overtime, but Philippe Daou, shorthanded with just seconds left in the extra frame, he ends it. But the real story of that one was Jackson Parsons, called up from the ECHL, put into action, and he stood tall and got the win.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Jackson Parsons is going to get this opportunity, Ross, because we knew he was going to start in the ECHL where he had 2 games there. Both of them, I mean, really good numbers in the ECHL. He's got a 237 goals against, a 931 save percentage. And then in his debut, 1 goal against and a 968 save percentage. So I want Jackson Parsons to get more opportunities here. Obviously, Hunter Shepard is that veteran guy they brought in, but when you're in the AHL, there's so many back-to-backs and even triple back-to-backs. You got to find ways to get your goalies in the mix there. So this is a big chance for Parsons to really step up here.
And the loss on Sunday wasn't on Hunter Shepard either. He did everything he could in that game to give Belleville an opportunity to win, but they just couldn't get that tying goal. They fell 3-2 in that one and lost 3-0 on Friday night. But Hunter Shepard was awesome in that last game, making 43 saves on 46 shots. You could almost say that Belleville was out of gas with that one. They actually got great goaltending all weekend. Yeah. Shepard had a 921 save percentage on Friday in Utica, where Angus Crookshank scored a goal on his former team.
Yeah, that one's tough to lose, Ross. Utica is the second worst team in the American Hockey League. That was only their 2nd win of the season. So you don't want to be dropping games like that to a weak division rival, especially where you get shut out and your former teammate gets the 3rd goal there to cap things off.
Let's talk about first-round picks, starting with Carter Yakemchuk. Just the 1 assist this weekend, but he's still producing offense, and it's great to see that he leads all AHL defensemen in points, rookie AHL defensemen in points.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take time to adjust to the pro game, Ross, but I think he's doing a better job as he goes along here, and I think we're going to continue to see him rack up points, and I don't think Sens fans should expect to see Yakemchuk in the NHL anytime soon, so let him keep working on his game down there.
Stephen Halliday also still leading the team in scoring. He's got 11 points in 12 games. Xavier Bourgault at 10. And Arthur Kaliyev, 8 points in 10 games. He had a goal this weekend as well. Speaking of first-round picks, the Wisconsin Sens had a huge weekend playing in Michigan against one of the best teams in college hockey. They were leading in the first game, but ultimately gave it up late in the third. They lose pretty badly in that one. 7-4 was the final score. And then they make up for it on Saturday. A 6-1 win in that one. And Sens prospect Blake Montgomery is red hot right now.
Yeah, he's really picked things up. In 10 goals, 10 games, he has 5 goals, 1 assist, and he had a goal and an assist in that big win up against Michigan. So you love to see that. And the Wisconsin Badgers, look out. This team is rolling. They are having a lot of success to start the year off.
I think they're 7-1, if I'm not mistaken, and they were initially ranked like 20th in the nation. I'm curious to see where they would rank now. I think the weekly standings come out Monday afternoon, and if you're that's last week still. Last week, Wisconsin was 10 and Michigan was 2. So getting the split there is super impressive. And we'll see 6-1-2 now for Wisconsin. And Logan Hensler in 9 games now has 4 points. On Friday, the first game, he had an assist, which extended his point streak to 3 games. Didn't get one on Saturday. He's averaging about 17 minutes a night right now with Wisconsin. So we'll keep an eye on Logan Hensler and what he's doing. Bruno Ejan didn't play the first of the 2 games, but did get in the lineup for the second one. We still think that there's more to give in terms of the offense of his game. He's just sitting on 1 assist right now through 7 games, but he's a +3, and Tyson Dick has only played in 3 games. Sens 7th round pick has no points and is a +2. That's the Wisconsin. And by the way, college hockey is just so awesome. Like, I was watching a clip of Javon Moore, who got an assist this weekend with Minnesota, and they've got the marching band playing, the atmosphere in there. They cut to the crowd and a bunch of people dressed up in banana costumes. It just seems like a party in there.
Yeah, I don't know the story behind all the banana costumes, but yes, college hockey is really coming into its own the last couple of years. I think people are starting to take notice, especially with all the elite players and prospects that are there now. And I can't wait for our Madison, Wisconsin trip, Ross. It's going to be awesome.
Exactly. And I think it's because Minnesota, one of their colors is yellow. It's like yellow and like mauve, like a purplish thing. And I think they just want it to be like highlighter yellow bananas. It also no doubt gets you on the Jumbotron. Like, if you see a group of people wearing banana costumes, they're having a good night and they're going to be on to fire everybody up in the building.
Yeah, maybe for the bachelor trip in Tampa, Ross, we'll each dress up as different fruit.
That's hilarious. No, we should dress up as Zaitsev, Josh Brown, and Erica Branson.
Okay.
And just like the horrors of Sens decors gone past. Hey, Braden Coburn, legend in Tampa.
Yeah.
We got to get that going. Although Josh is going to make sure to be wearing the Sergei Gonchar jersey. That's his go-to. Just absolutely
some throwbacks. Yeah.
Loves it. All right, Pills, any final thoughts on today's show?
Final thoughts for me is buckle up for a big week. We talked about it. You're looking at the Dallas Stars, Boston Bruins, LA Kings. None of those are going to be easy games. I want to see Leevi Merilainen. I want to see Levi play up against Boston. I think that makes sense. So, yeah, Sens fans, get back into it. I know it was a tough stretch. Sens hockey is back. This team's 3rd in the Atlantic Division.
And the Blue Jays ain't coming back. So
yeah, the Blue Jays are going to be gone for a while. So it's time for Sens hockey. Let's go.
It is time. And the weekend stat. Someone please comment what the Senators' back-to-back records are on weekends, because it's got to be incredible. And the feeling after it, it's awesome. So good. Such a look at the standings Monday morning. So go do that and check out tomorrow's game day preview episode of Locked On Senators. We are dialing in for this homestand. Cannot wait to see what they have in store next. For today, we say goodbye. For more on last night's game, you can check out the postcast. It's available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Please like and subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts. Helps the show grow. Leave a 5-star review. And you can find us on social media at Sens Central on Twitter. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.